She texted, "I'm crashing at my coworker's place. His partner is totally fine with it." I replied, "Then this should be fine too." I sent one screenshot to a number she didn't expect. By sunrise, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. I'm 35, been in a relationship for 3 years, and I just learned that sometimes the person you trust most is the one running the most elaborate con. My girlfriend and I met at a friend's wedding. She was a bridesmaid, I was a groomsman, and we spent the entire reception talking about everything from terrible reality TV to our shared obsession with true crime podcasts. We exchanged numbers, went on our first date 2 days later, and pretty much didn't stop seeing each other after that. She was 30 when we met, worked as a project coordinator for a consulting firm, and had this way of making even boring stories sound interesting. The first 2 years were solid. We didn't live together by choice. Both of us valued having our own space, but we stayed at each other's places regularly. She had a nice apartment closer to her office. I had a house about 20 minutes away. It worked. We talked about eventually moving in together, maybe next year, maybe the year after. No rush. Then about 7 months ago, her company hired someone new. She mentioned him casually at first, just another coworker, someone brought in to help with a major project she was managing. Over the next few weeks, his name came up more frequently. They were working late together. They'd grab dinner after long days. They had inside jokes about their demanding boss. I didn't think much of it initially. She'd always been friendly with coworkers, had work friends she'd occasionally meet for drinks. This seemed like more of the same. But then the dynamic shifted. She started texting him in front of me, not hiding it, just casually messaging while we watched TV or had dinner. When I'd glance over, the messages seemed normal enough, work stuff mixed with friendly banter. She'd laugh at something he'd sent and show me, like she wanted me to be in on the joke too. "He's hilarious," she'd say. "You'd like him." I'd nod, not really caring either way. Around month 3 of them working together, she told me he'd invited her to a concert, some band I'd never heard of, on a Friday night. "Do you want to come?" she asked. "Not really my thing. You should go, have fun." She went. Texted me throughout the night, sent pictures of the venue, told me about the opening act, seemed totally normal. The concerts became a regular thing. Apparently, they had similar music taste. Then it was art gallery openings, pop-up food markets, brewery tours, always things I wasn't particularly interested in, always things she'd invite me to but seemed relieved when I declined. "I'm glad you're not the jealous type," she said once, after I'd encouraged her to go to some event with him. "A lot of guys would be weird about this." I shrugged. "You're allowed to have friends. I trust you." And I did. Completely. She'd never given me a reason not to. But about 4 months in, I started noticing smaller things. She was on her phone more, angled away from me slightly when typing. Not obviously hiding it, just positioned differently. She'd get texts late at night and respond immediately, whereas my messages sometimes went hours without reply. When I mentioned we hadn't spent much time together lately, she got defensive. "I see you all the time. We literally had dinner 3 nights ago." "Yeah, but you were on your phone most of the night." "I was dealing with work stuff. You know this project is demanding." "Is it work stuff or is it him?" Her expression hardened. "Are you seriously going to start being jealous now, after 3 years?" "I'm not jealous. I'm just saying we used to be more present with each other." "Maybe you're the one who's been distant. Did you consider that?" The conversation went nowhere. We dropped it, moved on, pretended everything was fine. Then, 2 weeks ago, on a Thursday evening, I got a text from her around 9 p.m. "Working super late tonight. Probably going to crash at my coworker's place since it's closer to the office. His partner is totally fine with it." I stared at that message for a solid minute. His partner. Not his girlfriend or his wife. His partner. Deliberately vague enough that it could mean anything. I replied, "Which coworker?" She knew exactly which one I meant, but she played dumb. "The one I've been working with on this project. I've mentioned him before." And his partner is okay with my girlfriend sleeping over? It's not like that. I'll take the couch. We're both exhausted and have an early meeting. It doesn't make sense for me to drive 40 minutes home just to turn around and come back in 5 hours. Logically, it made sense. Practically, it was reasonable. But something felt off. I wrote back, okay, just seems sudden. Don't make this weird, it's just practical. There it was, the accusation disguised as reassurance. Don't make this weird, putting the burden on me to be cool, to be understanding, to not question something that absolutely deserved questions. I replied, I'm not. Do what you need to do. She didn't respond after that. I couldn't sleep that night. Kept checking my phone, hoping for a goodnight text that never came. By 3 a.m., I was wide awake, sitting in my kitchen, going through every conversation we'd had over the past few months. The next morning, she texted, Morning. Heading straight to work from here. Talk later? Sure. That was it. No details about how it went. No acknowledgement of how weird the situation was. Nothing. I spent that Friday distracted and irritable. We'd had plans for Saturday, dinner at a place we'd been wanting to try. When I texted asking what time I should pick her up, she said she needed to reschedule. Something came up. Can we do next weekend instead? What came up? Just some personal stuff I need to handle. With him? Stop. You're being paranoid. I wasn't being paranoid. I was paying attention. There's a difference. Saturday afternoon, I was scrolling through social media, something I rarely did, and stumbled across his profile. I'd never looked him up before, never felt the need to. His privacy settings were loose, posts visible to everyone. I scrolled through recent photos. There she was, multiple photos, the concert from months ago, but also recent pictures I hadn't known about. A hiking trip from 2 weeks prior that she'd told me was a solo thing to clear her head. A dinner that she'd said was a work function, but looked decidedly casual and intimate. Comments from friends on his posts like, You two are so cute together, and when's the wedding, with laughing emojis. My stomach dropped. I kept scrolling. Found a post from that Thursday night, posted Friday morning. A photo of his living room, 2 wine glasses on the coffee table, a caption that read, Best late-night conversations with the best company. She'd liked the post, commented a wine glass emoji. I screenshot everything, the photos, the comments, the timeline that didn't match what she'd told me, saved them all. Then I looked at his profile more carefully. Relationship status, single. Always had been, according to his archived posts. There was no partner. There never had been. Update 1, I sat with that information for the rest of Saturday. Didn't confront her, didn't say anything. Just watched as she texted me casually about her day, about how she was tired and staying in, about how she missed me and we'd definitely do dinner next weekend. Every message felt like a knife. Sunday morning, she texted, Hey, might crash at his place again tonight. We're doing a work session today and it'll probably run late. I replied, Then this should be fine too. I opened the screenshots I'd taken, selected the most damning ones. The hiking photo she'd said was solo. The dinner that was supposed to be work-related. The best company post from Thursday. The comments calling them cute. His relationship status showing single. Then I went to her social media, found her mother's profile from a tagged family photo, and sent her a message request with all the screenshots attached. Thought you should know what your daughter's been up to. She told me she was staying at a coworker's place because his partner approved. Turns out there is no partner. These are just some of the things she's been hiding. I sent it at 11 a.m. and turned off my phone. Turned it back on at 6 p.m. 43 missed calls. 29 from her, 14 from unknown numbers. Voicemails from her ranged from angry to hysterical. What the fuck did you do? Why would you contact my mother? You had no right. Call me back right now. Voicemails from unknown numbers were different. Her mother, calm but firm. We need to talk, all 3 of us. Her sister, furious. You're a vindictive asshole. Her father, surprisingly measured. I'd like to hear your side of this. I called her father back first. "Thank you for calling," he said. "This is a mess, and I'm trying to understand what's true and what isn't." Everything I sent is true. Those screenshots are from his public profile. The timeline is accurate. She told me she was staying at his place because his partner approved, but he doesn't have a partner. She's been lying about where she is and who she's with for months. She says you're taking things out of context, that they're just friends and you're making it seem like more than it is. Ask her about the hiking trip she said was solo. Ask her about the dinner she said was a work function. Ask her why his friends are commenting about them getting married if they're just coworkers. He was quiet for a moment. Her mother is very upset. She had no idea any of this was happening. Your girlfriend has been telling us everything is fine with you two. Everything was fine until she started lying. What do you want to happen here? I want honesty. I want her to admit what she's been doing. I want to stop feeling like I'm insane for noticing something was wrong. Fair enough. We're meeting tomorrow afternoon, all of us. Her mother insists. Will you come? I agreed. Update 2. The meeting was at her parents' house, a place I'd been dozens of times over 3 years. It felt different walking in this time, hostile territory instead of the warm family gatherings I'd gotten used to. Her mother answered the door, looked at me with this mix of disappointment and confusion. Come in. She's in the living room. My girlfriend was on the couch, eyes red, tissue in hand. Her sister sat next to her, arm around her shoulders, glaring at me like I was the villain in all this. Her parents sat across from them. I took a chair by myself, feeling like I was on trial. Her mother started. We're here because there's clearly been a breakdown in communication and trust. I want to hear from both of you. Calmly, what's been happening? My girlfriend spoke first, voice shaky. He's been controlling and paranoid for months. I have a friend from work, someone I've been collaborating with on a major project, and he can't handle that I have a life outside of our relationship. He went through my social media, screenshotted private moments, and sent them to my family to humiliate me. I almost laughed at the audacity. Private moments on a public profile? You had no right to involve my family. You had no right to lie to me for months. Her father held up a hand. One at a time. Let him speak. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots again. Thursday night, she told me she was staying at her coworker's place because his partner approved. I thought that was odd, but trusted her. Friday morning, I found his social media. He's single. Always has been. There is no partner. Then I found photos of them together that she never mentioned. A hiking trip she said was solo. A dinner she said was work-related, but was clearly just the two of them. Comments from his friends shipping them as a couple. I showed them everything, passing my phone around. Her sister jumped in. So they're friends. So what? You're being insecure. If they're just friends, why lie about the partner? Why hide the hiking trip? Why not tell me about the dinner? My girlfriend. Because I knew you'd react like this. I knew you'd make it into something it's not. So you lied preemptively because you assumed I couldn't handle the truth? That's your defense. Her mother. Sweetheart, you did tell him there was a partner when there isn't one. Why would you say that? Because it sounds better than saying I'm staying at a guy's place. I didn't want him to worry. I leaned forward. Did you stay on the couch like you said? She hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. Answer him, her father said quietly. We both fell asleep on the couch watching TV. It's not what you're making it sound like. Were you in the same room all night? Another hesitation. He has a guest room. I slept there. The couch thing was just... We started on the couch. Her father's expression changed. He looked at her like he was seeing someone he didn't recognize. So you slept over at a single man's apartment, lied about him having a partner, lied about sleeping on the couch, and hid multiple outings with him over months. And you think the problem is that he's insecure? She started crying harder. You're all ganging up on me. I haven't done anything wrong, we're just friends. Then why all the lies? Her mother asked, and the disappointment in her voice was crushing even from where I sat. The meeting deteriorated from there. Her sister kept defending her, her parents kept pressing for answers. I sat mostly silent as the truth came out in pieces. She admitted to staying over twice before. Both times in the guest room, both times she'd told me she was somewhere else. She admitted to developing feelings for him but swore nothing physical had happened. She admitted to planning to break up with me eventually but hadn't found the right time. Eventually, I repeated. You were going to string me along until when exactly? I didn't know. I was confused. I love you, but I also have feelings for him, and I didn't know what to do. You could have been honest. You could have broken up with me before starting something with someone else. You could have done literally anything other than lie for months. She had no response to that. Update 3. I left her parents' house that evening with a strange sense of closure. Her father walked me out, apologized on her behalf, said they'd talk to her about accountability and honesty. Her mother hugged me, whispered that I deserved better. Her sister sent me a nasty text that night calling me a manipulative asshole for airing dirty laundry to the family. I didn't respond. My girlfriend sent a long text around midnight. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But sending those screenshots to my parents was cruel, and you know it. You wanted to humiliate me, and you succeeded. I hope you're happy. I replied, I didn't humiliate you. You humiliated yourself by lying. I just provided evidence of what you'd been hiding. If you're embarrassed, that's on you, not me. She didn't respond. The next day, I got a call from him, the coworker. I almost didn't answer. Hey man, I think we should talk, he said, sounding uncomfortable. About what? About her. About this whole situation. I didn't know you existed until yesterday. She told me she was single, that she'd gotten out of a long relationship about a year ago and was ready to date again. My turn to be silent. I'm serious, he continued. She never mentioned having a boyfriend. We've been seeing each other for about 3 months, pretty much since we started working together. I thought it was real. I was falling for her. Then yesterday she shows up freaking out, saying her ex found out we were hanging out and sent stuff to her family. I was confused, asked what ex, and she finally admitted you weren't an ex, you were her current boyfriend. She told you I was an ex? Yeah. Said the relationship ended badly, that you were having trouble letting go, that you were kind of obsessive. She painted you as this jealous, controlling guy who couldn't handle her having moved on. I laughed, bitter and exhausted. None of that is true. I'm figuring that out now. After she left, I started thinking about all the times she'd cancel plans last minute, or couldn't hang out certain days, or was vague about her schedule. I thought she was just busy. Now I realize she was juggling both of us. We talked for almost an hour, compared stories, filled in blanks. He'd been played just as much as I had, told a completely different narrative, manipulated into thinking he was her fresh start when really he was just her backup plan. What are you going to do? I asked. I already told her I'm done. I don't date liars, and I definitely don't get involved in other people's relationships, even by accident. She tried to explain, tried to say she really did have feelings for me, but I don't care. Trust is gone. We ended the call on decent terms, 2 guys who got conned by the same person comparing notes. Update 4. Over the next week, the fallout continued. Mutual friends took sides. Some believed her version that I'd been controlling and she'd sought comfort elsewhere. Others, especially ones who saw the evidence or talked to her parents, sided with me. I lost a few friendships, people who decided it was easier to believe I'd overreacted than to accept she'd been running a double life. She tried to reconcile 3 times. First through text, long paragraphs about how she'd made mistakes but we could work through them, how she'd cut off contact with him, how she wanted to fix things. I didn't respond. Second attempt was showing up at my house. I didn't let her in, told her through the door we were done and to stop contacting me. She left a letter taped to my door. I threw it away without reading it. Third attempt was 2 weeks later, through a mutual friend who agreed to mediate a conversation. I met with the friend, explained I had zero interest in reconciliation or closure or whatever she was seeking. The friend reported back that she was devastated, but understood. I blocked her on everything after that: phone, social media, email, complete cutoff. Her mother called me once to check in, see how I was doing. We had a good conversation. She apologized again for her daughter's behavior, said they'd raised her better than that they were as shocked as I was. I appreciated the call more than she probably knew. Final update. It's been 3 months now. I'm doing okay. Some days are harder than others, moments where I remember something good about us and feel the loss. But mostly, I feel relief. Relief that I'm not being lied to anymore. Relief that I trusted my instincts instead of gaslighting myself into believing everything was fine. Last I heard, she and the coworker are not together. He meant what he said about being done. She tried to rekindle things with him after we ended, but he wasn't interested. From what mutual friends have told me, she's been struggling with the fallout, lost some friendships herself, had to deal with family disappointment. Part of me feels bad for her. Not the lying, deceitful part, but the human part that clearly didn't know how to handle complicated feelings and made terrible choices instead of facing them honestly. But mostly, I've moved on. Started seeing someone new about a month ago, taking it very slow, being very clear about expectations and communication. She's straightforward, doesn't play games, tells me when something bothers her instead of hiding it. I kept the screenshots. Not to be vindictive or to show people, but as a reminder to myself that I wasn't crazy, that my gut was right, that sometimes the person you love most is capable of elaborate deception. The weirdest part of all this is that if she'd just been honest, if she'd come to me and said she'd developed feelings for someone else and wanted to explore that, it would have hurt, but I would have respected it. The lying is what made it unforgivable. The months of gaslighting, the manipulation, the double life. Her sister sent me an apology text last week, said she'd been defensive because she couldn't believe her sister would do something like that. But after seeing more evidence and hearing her sister admit to more lies, she realized I'd been telling the truth all along. I appreciated it, but didn't respond. Some bridges are burned for good reason. I still think about that text sometimes. His partner is totally fine with it. Such a small lie, but it unraveled everything. If she'd just said, "I'm staying at a friend's place," I probably would have been fine with it. The addition of the fake partner was so unnecessary, so calculated. It revealed how comfortable she was with lying, how easily deception came to her. That's the thing that scared me most in retrospect. Not the cheating itself, but how effortlessly she maintained separate realities, how convincingly she played the victim when caught, how quickly she turned everything around to make me the bad guy for discovering the truth. I'm dating someone honest now, someone who doesn't make me question my sanity or second-guess my instincts, someone who understands that trust isn't about blind faith, it's about consistent honesty. And I learned that sending one screenshot to the right person at the right time can save you months of continued deception. Sometimes you have to blow up a lie before it buries you completely.